Radha Swami, thank you so much, dear sister. If we just like tune in with your soul and see how it's singing for the oversoul, singing for Master, yearning for Master, it just comes out in your voice and in your singing. The yearning. Thank you so much, my dear holy family. Um, my brothers and sisters, welcome to satsang. Welcome to the satsang of our Holy Father, Ishwar Puri Ji, where we all gather in His love to develop two things, two most important things, which is love and devotion, that He always talked about in every satsang. Master talked about love and devotion. So we come here to grow in love and devotion to our Father, Ishwar Puri Ji. And what does love and devotion bring? It makes us pregnant, and we will give birth to two godly qualities. And what are these godly qualities? Do you know what they are? The most important godly qualities on the path of spirituality, and that is humility and forgiveness. Humility and forgiveness are born from love and devotion, and are born from listening to the Shabd and thinking of the Master. We cannot change ourselves, but love and devotion and the holy Shabd that is manifested in the living master, in the master, in the living master, when he was here, and he gave us that gift of the Shabd, that changes us. So yes, the most important thing is to develop forgiveness. And how do we forgive? How do we forgive? Many people say, I forgive, but they keep thinking about it. They keep thinking about it, and it's not true forgiveness. As the mind cannot forgive, mind is not made for forgiveness, but soul can forgive. Soul has all the qualities of God, and soul does not make any mistakes because it is just a drop of the ocean of all consciousness. So mind makes mistakes, soul does not make mistakes. So mind cannot forgive, but soul, our inner heart, our inner heart yearns for forgiveness and asks for forgiveness, and in the form of the soul. And who grants the forgiveness? The master within. He grants the forgiveness. As the masters, they are the form of forgiveness. They are the true form of forgiveness. And when they come to the world, they only come to forgive. They only come to forgive, and they teach us also that we have to also forgive and forget. Forgive and forget is the motto of life that they teach us. That how do we forgive? So, the most important thing about forgiveness, since mind cannot forgive and it's only soul and God inside that forgives, it is good to learn how to forgive. To learn how to forgive is very, very important. And every disciple on the path of the masters and the path of love should learn how to forgive. First of all, when we do a mistake, we have to confess that mistake and then say sorry. And the other party has to accept that apology, has to accept that apology. But what is the best way to forgive so the ego does not come in the way? And then we say, I forgave that person. But really, the ego came in between, and then it is not real forgiveness. So the best way to forgive, as the saints teach us, is when we ask for forgiveness, to imagine the form of the master, to imagine the form of the master, and then ask for forgiveness. Ask that I want to forgive that person. So when we think and manifest or contemplate on the inner master, that is the time we can ask for forgiveness. And then master who is asking for the forgiveness, and when it is the master who is giving the forgiveness, then where is the problem? Correct? So soul forgives, mind doesn't forgive, and the best way to forgive is to contemplate on the inner master, and then ask for forgiveness, and then real forgiveness can happen. Real forgiveness can happen, and total forgetfulness. Total forgetfulness. As the mother, when her child makes a mistake, she totally forgives and forgets the mistake. And this is how we should be. This is how we should be. Is that when forgiveness is in our life, then happy, then we become the abode of love, the abode of happiness, and the abode of contentment. All feelings, uneasy feelings that revenge brings. When there is no forgiveness, then people think of revenge. Revenge brings gives birth to new karma, and revenge, then it's tit for tat, and that is why the whole world is suffering, because they are mind and they don't know how to forgive, and that's why wars are there. All types of problems are there that are born from not knowing how to forgive. But when we forgive, then we become brave, because forgiveness is only for the brave and not for the weak. Forgiveness brings the forces of love that surround the atmosphere, and brings a soothing feeling, like the moon, and the coolness of the moon. And then the sun comes up and dispels all darkness. All darkness. With forgiveness, all darkness of all the clouds of bad thoughts are dispelled and wither away. And then the feeling of happiness, the feeling of contentment, and the unburdening of the soul. As when we are not forgiving, when we do not forgive, then we carry that with us all the time, and we keep going back to that situation, which brings resentment or feelings of revenge and just uneasy feelings from the negative power. So when we learn how to forgive the correct way, then we will become the abode of truth. We will become the abode of love, the abode of happiness, and the abode of love. Kabir says, where there is truth, there is faith. And where there is a lie, there is a sin. And where there is greed, there is death. And where there is forgiveness, He Himself is there. The Lord is there when there is forgiveness. That is why forgiveness is one of the cardinal virtues. It's one of the most important qualities that we have to imbibe as students and disciples on the path of love, as forgiveness will just make us happy. And you know the stories when Lord Christ was on the cross, and how when they put the thorns on his head, and he said, "Oh Lord, forgive them, for they don't know what they are doing. They are innocent. They don't know what they are doing." See, the masters are the abode of forgiveness. They are forgiveness, the form of forgiveness manifested are the masters. There is also the stories of hundreds of stories, but the story of Guru Arjan Dev, how he was put on the hot coals, and how he was hot sand was thrown on him, and how he stayed loving, and he didn't even have one bad word or one bad thought for his oppressors, and he totally forgave them. It is written in the Adi Grant, and then, when there was a person who was torturing him, his name was Chandu Savia or something like that. Chandu. His name was Chandu, and he even poisoned his family and killed his family in front of Guru Arjan. But Guru Arjan Dev said, let the will of God be done. How sweet is it to live in the will of God? These were his words. These were his words. Then, after that government that this Chandu person was belonging to fell down, and then Guru Gobind Singh became the ruler at that time. They asked him that he should give punishment to this to this Chandu, because now he is under our control. And Guru Gobind Singh said, "In the court of my father, there is only forgiveness. No punishment is there in the court of my father." And what that Chandu did, he had to do it like that at that time. So he is forgiven. But then the disciples who are not developed in love to the master, they went and they tied a rope around the neck of this guy Chandu, and then they took him in Lahore, I think, like a dog on the chain. And then they took him to the place, to the shop, where that guy who was ordered to throw the hot sand on his head, and the guy that was ordered to throw the hot sand on Guru Arjan Dev's head got angry that he was ordered, and he went and he threw a stone and hot sand on the person who did that to Guru Arjan as a revenge. And at that time, that Chandu guy, he started praying to Guru Gobind Singh and saying, "I am under your refuge. I am under your refuge." And then, as when he started praying like that, he was totally liberated and he was let go. And then one of the disciples of Guru Gobind Singh asked him, is he gonna go to hell? This guy Chandu, is he gonna go to hell? And Guru answered, "No, my dear. He had the darshan of two great masters. He had the darshan of two masters, and at the time of his death, those masters came to receive him, and he was totally forgiven. He was totally forgiven." So from this story, we see that forgiveness is the master. Forgiveness is the master, as he comes to this world only to forgive our sins, only to forgive our sins, and only to pay for our karma, to pay for our karma and to forgive our sins. This is the main purpose why he comes to this world. And he suffers for us, that these payments of the sins have to be paid. They have to be paid, and somebody has to pay the price. So Master takes it upon his body. So many times he takes it upon his body because he is so much love that he doesn't want his children to suffer. So he takes it on himself, and he doesn't tell us. He doesn't tell us what he did for us, as humility is also his abode. He is so humble that he just keeps it as shush, that he keeps it as a secret, how much pain he took and how much pain he took for us. My master, Santakar Singh, he used to tell us in satsang that we don't know what the masters suffer, and they usually suffer at night. That at that one hand, it looks like it is in flower, but the other hand is on fire, paying off karmas. These are the great masters and the great souls that they take so much pain for us, and they don't tell us. Who knows? God only knows. Master only knows what Ishwar Puri Ji took for us when he left the body, when he took when he got sick and he left the body. Who knows what kind of payments he did for us, so we don't have to suffer, so we can continue our love and devotion. As the most important thing to the Master is that his children continue the love and devotion, and continue meditation. So if the Master suffers a little bit, he can release the whole world. He can release the whole world of big, big, big suffering. So I'm sure, I'm 100% sure that Ishwar Puri Ji, the supreme power of Baba Sawan Singh, the supreme power, Satpurush himself, suffered for a reason, took that disease on himself and left for a very big reason, that it is for our benefit. So we can continue on our love and devotion. We can continue on our meditations, and so much misery, so much troubles have been removed and taken away from our Holy Father due to that sickness he took. So God only knows, Master only knows, because they keep it a secret, what happened and what the truth is, and what the reality of how much Master paid in our account, and not just for us, but for the whole world. As if the world is disturbed, it also we are all connected to each other. And if one is disturbed, if the world is disturbed, then we will also be very disturbed. So he took big payment on himself, so to make the world livable for us, so we can continue our love and devotion to our Holy Father and go one step closer towards God and the kingdom of God on every day of our life. So this is this is my introduction for today. It was a talk about forgiveness and how love and devotion brings birth to humility and forgiveness. So thank you, Master, for my seva, and my head is always on your feet where it belongs. And now I will play our dear brother Prempal, and can't wait to listen to his talk. So one second, let me prepare his talk.
My today's topic is real form of the master, real form of the guru. गुरमूर्त गुर शब्द है. Bhai Gurdas ji says, Gurmurt Gur Shabd hai. The real form of the Guru is the Shabd or the sound. What is the meaning of Guru? Guru is a Shabd or a word from the Sanskrit language. Guru, the one who can pull us from darkness and take us towards the light or Noor. As Chand Bhardwaj said beautifully, the Noor, अब्बल अल्लाह नूर उपाया कुदरत के सब बंदे एक नूर ते सब जग उपजिया कौन भले को मंदे. कबीर साहब जी says the same point that Chand Bhardwaj ji brought it up beautifully in his satsang. Noor and Naad. Noor means light, Naad means sound. Light and sound is the main thing to understand. The main thing to understand. Abbal, Allah. In the beginning was the world. World was with God and God is world. आपी ने ही आप साजियो, आप ही रचियो ना. As Vani of Guru Granth Sahib Ji says. In the beginning was Vaheguru, Paramatma. He created the sound or sound created him. In the beginning, actually, Abbal, Allah, Noor. What happened first? When the Noor came out, light, when he started the creation, the Big Bang theory is coming very close to the Vani of Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And from that light, everything happened. That light and a Noor is in every one of us. That means in the beginning was Paramatma, Param Atma, the first soul. Param Atma, Paramatma means Param, the first soul. That means we all came from the beginning or same God or Vaheguru Paramatma who he created us. In other words, when he became from one to many, that was his creation. That was his creation to become one from many. That how he decided to became one from many. That was his Moj. And Moj usually come from Vaheguru Paramatma or Moj usually come from a Satgur. There is no difference between Satgur and Paramatma. Satpurush jin janaya, Satgur tiska naam. Those who finally realize who is Satpurush or Paramatma, they realize that he is the master, he is the master. Satgur, tiska naam, Satgur, tiska naam. So inner form of the master never goes away. Inner form of the master is Sab Shabd, Naam, Noor, Naad, light, sound. When it rains, you might have noticed it. You will hear the sound and you will also see the light. The light and sound, you will hear it. But what is the source of light and sound? The cloud. They both come from there. Everything comes from Vaheguru and Paramatma. Whatever is in Paramatma is in Atma. The Bani of Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji says, Atam mein Ram, Ram mein Atam chenis gur bichara. Inside of our soul is God, inside of the God is our soul. That how this creation started. That was his mouth. As Bhai Gurdas Ji says, if you sow a seed of an apple, you can sow just one seed. That seed will start growing. Eventually, after some time, you will see a big apple tree. When you see that apple tree, you will see thousands of apple fruit hanging out from that tree. If you pluck one apple from the tree and cut it, in the middle of that fruit, apple fruit, you will find the same seed. You will find the same seed in there. There is no difference in the seed that you sowed and the seed that you find inside the apple. Bhai Gurdas Ji is trying to tell us inside your physical body is the same Vaheguru Paramatma sitting who started this creation. It's the same Vaheguru Paramatma who started the creation, the same Paramatma Vaheguru is sitting inside of us. As Bhai Gurdas Ji say, when you cut that apple, you will find the same seed in the middle. Then what is the meaning of the Mani of Bhai Gurdas Ji? Bhai Gurdas Ji wrote Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Guru Granth Sahib was narrated by Guru Arjan Dev Ji, but it was written by Bhai Gurdas Ji. The original copy of the Guru Granth Sahib is sitting in Kartarpur. Family known as Tir Malliyan the family. There's a big thing now, so we can read Guru Granth Sahib Ji now anytime. So here Bhai Gurdas Ji says that means Vaheguru Paramatma inside your physical body, but you have to remove the covering to discover it. To become from one to many, that was his mouth. That was his mouth. Arbad Narbad Tandukara Tarna Gagan Achenta Pasara Nad Narayan Chandana Suraj Sun Sumad Lagainta. He was in a Sun Sumad by himself. He created this creation, that was his mouth, that was his game, that was his lila. That was his lila. But when he created the creation, he came with the creation. That means wherever the soul is, life is there. Wherever the life is, soul is there. That's why Gurmani of Guru Granth Sahib Ji says, Atam mein Ram, Ram mein Atam. Chinus means to know thyself. Chinus Gur Bichara. If you know thyself, you will realize there is no difference between God and soul. But Chinus Gur Bichara. But you need to find a master who can tell you how to discover yourself. As Sai Bulle Shah Ji say, Jan aap pashata ten shau jata. Those who realize themselves, they realize who is Allah or Vaheguru or Paramatma. Vaheguru or Paramatma. The inner form of the master is Noor, Noori Swarup. And Swamiji Maharaj Ji says the same thing in Sar Bachan. Guru mohe apna roop dikhao. Je to roop taratum sargun, jeeb ubhar karao. Swamiji Maharaj says in Sar Bachan, Guru mohe apna roop dikhao. Master, please show me your real form. The real form of the master is the Shabd or Naam. Shabd or Naam. Swamiji Maharaj ji asking his master, Tulsi Sahib ji, please, love to meet you from inside in a radiant form. Please show me your radiant form. Je to roop taratum sargun. Sargun is just like anyone. There are two forms of the Vaheguru or Paramatma. One is Nirgun, the other one is Sargun. As the Bani of Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji says, the title of the Bani is Sukhmani Sahib. Nirgun aap, Sargun bhi ohi, kala tar jin sagli mohi. Guru Arjan Dev Ji says, individually Nirgun, individually Guru, individually Vaheguru Paramatma is one. Nirgun aap, he is the only one. Sargun bhi ohi, the one who created the creation is the same. Vaheguru Paramatma, kala tarjan sagli mohi. He is the one who created this creation or kala. But he is in every one of us, in the form of a soul. In the form of a soul. When you sit down and do meditation, you will hear the sound, you will see the light. Where the sound and light comes from? From the soul. From the soul, not from outside. It comes from the soul. So, real form of the master is as a Nuri Srup, Noor, Shabd Srup. And that form never goes away. That form of the master always stays with us. रूप तुम्हारा अगम अपारा सोई आप दर्शाओ. Swamiji Maharaj says, your real form is agam apara. Agam, the one who never moves, stable. Apara means beyond time and space. So we abdarsao, love to see you, but your real form beyond time and space. The real form of the master beyond time and space and real form of ourself is the soul. When we go beyond time and space, when we remove all the covering of soul, sukshma and karan, physical, causal and astral, then after that the only thing left is soul. Soul is a self-realization. Then you will see there is no difference between Atma and Paramatma. And Swamiji Maharaj says same thing. I have love to have self-realization. Please, Master, help me. रूप तुम्हारा मगन होए बैठूं अभय दान दिखलाऊं. Swamiji Maharaj says, please, I love to see you in a radiant form inside so I can enjoy the blissful state. Blissful state. In the beginning, when we start our meditation and we start thinking many of the satsang in these days, and some of my friends send me a message, I don't see Babaji inside, I don't see Babaji inside. And I'm telling them, Babaji never goes away. Babaji is sitting inside of you and waiting for you 24/7. Ikko Satgur Jagda. Baki jag sutta moh pyar. The only thing that's in a wakeful state is the master. Everything else, all of us can go to sleep, but master never does. He's waiting for you at the third eye center. And Huzur Maharaj Baba Savan Singh Ji used to say, at one time Baba Savan Singh Ji was sitting, and Baba Savan Singh Ji was sitting and he said, I need a job. That all those satsangis standing right next to Babaji and asked Huzur Maharaj Babaji, you just got a retirement from the military, and what kind of job you need? You already had done enough for the government. And Babaji said, I'm waiting for someone to come at the third eye center so I can do something. So I can do something. And Baba Saban Singh Ji used to say, I gave you the initiation. I'm waiting for you at the third eye center. When you come there, your job will finish and my job will start. My job will start. That means, even Baba Saban Singh Ji used to say, once you find me inside, it's my responsibility to take you to Sachkhand. And your responsibilities will be over. That's the inner or Shabd Sroop of a master. And that Sroop always stay with us. जे भी रूप प्यारा मोह को इसी से उसको समझाओ. Swamiji Maharaj says your physical form is so beautiful that I have to focus on your physical face or form so I can see you inside. So I can see you inside. That's why The Param Sant Satgur always comes here in physical form. As a matter of fact, Vaheguru Paramatma comes here as a Sant Satgur, so we can understand him. Tulsi Sahib ji came and Swamiji Maharaj said, Tulsi Sahib, my master, your physical body, your physical face is helping me so I can concentrate on that. And once you keep focusing on the physical form you see, dhyan dharna, if you don't see anyone, you can't contemplate. And Bani of Saint Ravi Das ji says the same thing. बिन देखे उपजे नहीं आसा जो दिसे सो सगल binasa. Saint Ravi Das ji says, without seeing anything, we can't expect anything. And whatever we see outside is a binasa, nothing was illusion. Very deep meaning in the Bani of Saint Ravi Das ji. And Swamiji Maharaj used to say, Guru Nanak, Kabir और रैदास की वाणी विचारन योग्य है. And I finally know it. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. That means whatever you see outside is illusion. बिन देखे उपजे नहीं आसा जो दिसे सो सगल बनासा. That means unless we cannot contemplate on anything unless we see it. Once you see our master in a physical level, everything has to start from the physical level. Because we're sitting here in a physical plane or Matalok. We have to start our journey from here. That's why master comes here in a physical level so we can understand and get initiation from him. Then eventually he will take us. He will take us. He will take us beyond physical. Beyond physical. So why the master come here? They come here because of our seeking. Because of our seeking. If he comes, if master comes, a master had been coming and coming and coming. If you search the history, Lord Krishna came, Lord Ramaji came, and Muhammad Sahib came, Jesus came, and all those 10 gurus came, and all those powerful masters, Bhaktajan came, and now still master coming. How come we hadn't gone a chance to go back? How come this universe still has that many people living here? How come he didn't go back? How come he didn't go back? The same question was asked from Shri Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj during his time. And one of his Gursikh or disciple and Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj was sitting outside and uh, teaching them how to archery and how to use the arrow and sword and all those things because of the time. And Guru Sahib Ji was sitting there peacefully, and one of his Gursikh, few of them came and asked him a question. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, Gurudev, how come you are the 10th Guru? All the 9 Gurus did lot of blessing, but still there are a lot of Sikhs here. How come we didn't had a chance to go back? Babaji, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj smiled at them and said, okay, I will explain you. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj used to teach them archery, that how to use arrow and bow. And all those Sikh and all those disciples will go and pick up those arrows and bring it back to Guru Gobind Singh Ji. And same day, Guru Sahib said, go and find out where my arrows are. And they went out, there was nothing. Then they find something. They find a beautiful wing of a bird, punk, wing of a bird. That looked very beautiful. They bring it to Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj and said, Gurudev, we never saw this thing. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji said, this is a punk or wing of a bird known as Hamau. Kabir Sahib Ji called him Alal Panchi. Then they asked Gurudev, we never saw that Panchi or bird. How come this wing or feather is here? Feather of a bird is here. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj smiled again. Then he said, Gurudev, please tell us. The Gurudev said, this Hamau or Alal Panchi flies so high in the sky, most of the time he is beyond the gravitational force of the earth. Then all those Sikhs and all those disciples say, Gurudev, if that world, Hamau or Alal fly so far beyond the gravitational force, how this feather or wing came here? Guru Sahib smiled again. He said, one time, as Kabir Sahib ji says, that Alal or Hamau word laid on an egg. The egg dropped on the earth because the gravitational force, because the then he that same world came back to see where my egg is. Then when the baby came out of that egg, that Alal or Hammam word gave him love and devotion. That little word fall in love with that. The Alal Panchi or Hammam, that Panchi or word taught him how to walk and how to run and how to fly. Eventually, that little word that came off an egg, when he learned how to fly, that Hamau Panchi or Lal Panchi asked him, let's go up, 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 up. Finally, he took him without the gravitational force of the earth. He took him back to where he belongs. And all those Gursik says, Gurudev, we still don't understand. What is your moj? What you want to tell us? The little wing or feather they brought, Guru Sahib put that aside. The finally Guru Sahib ji pull an arrow from the Trir or Chatta, I can call it arrow holder, and they launch one arrow. That arrow didn't go too far, just came back to Guru Sahib ji. Guru Sahib ji put it aside. Then they pull another arrow and launch it. That arrow end up in a beautiful garden, but it came back, never came back for a few minutes, and all the Gursikh was waiting. Guru Sahib ji, how come that arrow never came back? And Guru Sahib ji smiled again, said, wait. It came back after 5-10 minutes, and Guru Sahib ji put it aside. Then after that, Guru Sahib ji pulled another arrow and pulled that feather on top of that arrow and launch it. That arrow crossed the sky and never came back. Keep waiting and waiting and waiting and never came back. That all the Sangat surprised Gurudev. What kind of moj is that? Please explain us. Then Guru Sahib ji said that first arrow that I launched didn't go far and came back to me. That means if you keep attached with this physical universe, with the desire and demands, you will not go far. After the death, you will come back immediately to this universe according to your karmas, your wishes and desires. They said, okay. And Bhai Gurdas ji same ji say same thing. जुग जुग मेल शरीर का वासना बद्धा आए जाए फिर मेल बिटाइए ज्ञानी हो मरम को पाए जुग जुग मेल शरीर का हो been here from many jugas. Vasana baddha आए जाए और our desire lust keep pulling us back in this physical planet. फिर बिटाइए ज्ञानी हो मरम को पाए. Eventually who can get the medicine? What is the medicine? That is the नाम. नाम अमोलक रतन है पूरे सतगुर पास. The real medicine we can get it is the Naam, and Naam is we can get it from Master only. The Sangat says, Gurudev, okay, we understand it. And then Babaji said, Guru Govind Singh Ji Maharaj said, the arrow that came back after a few minutes end up in a beautiful garden. If you watch your karmas and be careful, you donate money to all those religious places, you can go to heaven or higher heaven, Vaikunt, but eventually you have to come back again. They said, Babaji, Gurudev, we understand it. How about the third arrow you launched and never came back? Then Guru Govind Singh Ji Maharaj Ji smiled. He said, okay. Remember I told you, this feather or belongs to a world who's always beyond the gravitation force. Said Guru Dev Ji, who still don't understand. What is the moj? Then Guru Govind Singh Ji Maharaj said, perfect like a master comes from such kind. They are beyond time and space. If you follow them, they will take you beyond that time and space, and you will never come back again in this physical universe to take birth and death. You will be out of the cycle of death and birth if you find a perfect Lego master. Because he is beyond time and space, he will take you beyond time and space. The inner form of the master is Shabd, that Noor or Noori Swarup never goes away. Master is with us 24/7. During the time of Lord Krishna ji, Draupadi ji remembered Lord Krishna ji, and all of a sudden Krishna ji was there. Lord Krishna ji and Draupadi ji said, भ्राता श्री, मैं आपको देखकर बहुत खुश हूं, मैं आपको ही याद कर रही तो आप आ गए. My dear brother, Lord Krishna, Vasudev Krishna, I was thinking about you, and all of a sudden you came. And Lord Krishna said, I'm always here, never go anywhere. Lord Krishna said, Draupadi, my dear sister, you said, you remember me, I'm here, I'm always with you. That means at that time, Lord Krishna was telling Draupadi ji, I'm always with you inside of the third eye center. I never go anywhere. Master never leaves us. Master always with us. Ikko Satgur jagda, baki jag sutta moh pyar. Master is always at the wakeful state at the third eye center. We may sleep physically, mentally, but Master never does. Master is always there, available 24/7. During the time of great Master Baba Saban Singh Ji, Baba Saban Singh Ji gave initiation to a BBG. Great Master gave initiation to thousands of people, more than 100,000. I think the real number is 127,000. 127,000. So BBG got initiation from Great Master, did a lot of meditation with love and devotion, and Great Master used to say in his satsang, BBGs are making more progress than Pai Ji. That means women are making more progress spiritually than the men. It did. It happened. BBG did a lot of meditation with love and devotion. And Baba Saban Singh is Noori Swarup or Shabd Swarup came inside. She enjoyed it. She was making a lot of progress. Then one time, few friends of that BBG said, BBG, we are going to a Jatra of Ganga. In other words, I will say, we are having a trip to Ganga Mataji who are going to Hardwar. You willing to go? BB said, of course, I go with you. She went with them. When they went to Haridwar, Ganges River or Ganga Ji, the Yatra, they did all kind of outside puja, aarti, lighting the deepak candle and all those. And BB did the same thing for a couple of days. She enjoyed that. She came back. She came back. When she sat on meditation, the radiant form of Baba Saban Singh Ji disappeared. And she was surprised. What happened? She sat every day, every day, every day. Gurmane Baba Saban Singh Ji. She never saw Baba Saban Singh Ji inside in a radiant form. She was very kind of upset. What happened here? She decided to go to Dera Vyas to attend the monthly satsang and talk to Baba Saban Singh. She went there, and during Baba Saban Singh Ji times, when Baba Jaimir Singh Ji left physically and Baba Saban Singh Ji started the satsang, the sangat was not, there was not a big crowd. And Babaji used to deliver satsang. And when Babaji was delivering satsang, most of the time, sometimes people start asking question from Great Master Baba Saban Singh Ji when the satsang was going on and on and on. This was more like an open forum satsang, or in other words, I will say more like a town hall meeting. Then satsang was keep going and going and going. Finally, Babaji decided, and the other members like Lala Munchiram and all those, that question and answer session should be at the end of the satsang. So Babaji, Baba Savan Singh Ji will keep sitting on the stage. If anyone has any question, they can ask him. If they have a personal question, then Babaji will give them a personal time. Then that BBG went there. The satsang was over. Babaji was sitting on the stage, and BBG got up. BBG said, Babaji, I have a question for you. Then Babaji said, Kako, pushtu ki puchna? Kako, what is your question? She said, Babaji, I used to see you inside. Now all of a sudden you disappear. And Babaji smiled and said, Kako, तू कोई इधर उधर का काम तो नहीं किया, कोई पूजा वगैरह गलत काम? She said, Babaji, I went to Ganges River And Babaji asked her, "Did you do any outer puja, outer worship, or anything?" She said, "Yes, yes, I went to the trip to Ganga Mataji, and I did all those things the other BBG did." And Babaji smiled. Babaji said, "The outer puja and the outer puja will take you outside. We have to concentrate on the third eye center. We are trying to coming back to inside. Don't do the outside puja." Babaji said, don't make this kind of mistake." BBG said, "Babaji, I'll never will make that kind of mistake." Then Baba Sabanji Singh ji said, "Kako, ਕੰਨ ਪਕੜ ਮੁੜ ਕੇ ਗਲਤੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰੂਗਾ, hold on to your ears, hold your ears ਕਾਕੋ, and don't make that mistake." She hold her ear and said, "Babaji, I will never make that mistake." Babaji said, "Okay." Then BBG said, "Babaji, can you do my favor?" Baba Saban Singh ji, "Of course ਕਾਕੋ." Then she said, "Babaji, can you do my favor?" Baba Saban Singh, "Yes, please." She said, "Babaji, can you also hold your ears and promise that you will never disappear in a radiant form when I sat on meditation?" Then Babaji picked up his turban little bit from both sides and hold his ear and said, "Kako, tu ਜਦੋਂ ਭਜਨ ਤੇ ਬੈਠੂਗੀ ਮੈਂ ਉਦੋਂ ਤੇਰੇ ਇੱਕਦਮ ਹੀ ਆ ਜਾਊਂਗਾ. When you do meditation, Kako, I be there." That means master is there 24/7. That's the grace, that's the mercy of a master. Blessing. That's their compassion. Master always with us. Always with us. Master never goes away. Only thing that will take us to him is love and devotion. The love and devotion of that BBG. Baba ji said, "Kako, tu jodo bhajan te bethungi modo aunga. I'll be there whenever you need me. Please accept my seva and forgive all my mistakes." Radha Swami.
External things come up, and the truth of going within our own temple, our own body, is lost. So religion deviates like that from spirituality. But the law of karma requires that we do forget about these divisions which we have made. The law of karma says we are all equal. And we will find we are so equal, we don't even know today. Our bodies are different. Our sense perceptions are different. Our minds are different. Our souls are not different at all. There's no difference in the soul. Every soul is the same. It's the same unit of consciousness that's embedded into these bodies and has different karma, different life, and different events happening in their life. So when we reach our spiritual self, we find we were all the same. There was no difference. And if you go a little higher, you find not only we were the same, we were one. And the whole experience is taking place within that one. Amazing thing is that this is all possible to achieve, to realize. It's not something to learn, it is something to realize within yourself. It's something to actually go within and experience it. It can be done. Nothing is coming in the way except our own mind. Nothing comes in the way except our own questions and our thinking. Oh, can I do it? Should I do it? Not do it? Is this the way? Is that the way? It's our own mind coming in the way. There's nothing else coming in the way. Nobody else is stopping us. It's not an external fight at all. It's a fight with our own mind. There's no obstruction to our path except our own mind. Then we can learn how to give instructions to our own mind. Then we can learn to be master of our mind. All the obstruction disappear. And we have a smooth journey back to our true home. That's why the law of karma contains within itself the opportunity to have this human life, and in human life to have the seeking and seeking to go back. We programmed it. We did a good job. We programmed that when we are ready, we should be able to get out. And what's the method? Because otherwise there is no way to get out of this cycle where we get trapped every time we come with the use of our mind, identification with our mind. We are thinking that is us. The mind is us. We get more attached, more desires, more attached in things outside, and we can't get rid of it. So the arrangement we have made is, let somebody come in our life at the right time and be a friend, be a guide, be one that we can feel something connected to, where we can speak soul to soul, not mind to mind, not language to language, but soul to soul, where we can feel so deep that there is a connection here that we can follow, and that person should have our awareness of our true home and share in such a way that we become co-travelers and go back home. Programmed very well. And are also because of a lot of karma that we go through. When we pick up our DVDs from the Akashic records, we make sure that that is at the end, because we were seekers. This universe has been set up in such a strange way to give it permanence. The soul is permanent, immortal. It is never born, never dies, because it's beyond time. Time was created to put this experience in. And before time, soul was still there. So therefore, it's immortal. Our totality is immortal. The word, the sound we are talking of is immortal. It was never created, will never die. These things are immortal, sitting right in front of us, right here. All the rest is just created for time. All the rest of the universes are created within a certain time. They come, they are sustained, and they go back, and they're dissolved, and they're finished. So in this, we accumulate a lot of karma, and not all life forms, not all these units of consciousness, which we call souls, are all here. Very small number are here. And very small number circulate into this physical world and have a physical free will and the ability to go back. The rest of them are all spread out in different forms of creation. Bulk of them, most of them, the many created from the one, are in their true home right now. They never left the home. They are enjoying the bliss of being many in one. That's a great joy. They are experiencing love because they are many in one. There's no better place to love than that. No better place to have bliss than that. So they are in a blissful state. A rough calculation is that about 90% of created manies, created souls, are there. 10% are hovering around in these other regions, including us. We are a very small fraction. But we are having an experience those 90% are not having. So what happens when we go back home and meet those colleagues of ours, other souls we meet there, and they are in bliss, and we dance like nobody's business there, because we are in greater bliss than them. And they say, what's so special about you? We are all in the same place. We are all living in Sachkhand, our true home. How are you jumping so high and feeling so much better than us? And we tell them, you don't know what you're missing, because they've never seen this side. They don't know what it is. Therefore, one of the big purpose of creation, the very, very fundamental purpose of creation was to give an opposite experience, to appreciate our true state, where we are always immortal, much better than us. Therefore, this word is very important, appreciation. We are created to appreciate. Appreciate what? Our own state. And therefore, appreciation is a key word to explain why we are here, to appreciate our own state. Some people say, we pray to God and ask for so many things. God, give us this. God, take care of this. God, take care of our problem. We don't ever say, God, what do you want from us? Hardly ever somebody says, God, I've been praying for so many things from you all my life. I never prayed, God, tell me what you want from me. If you did pray, God will say only one word, appreciate. Appreciate what I've given you. Appreciation is all they want. We go to masters and say, Master, help us with this thing. Go and check with the master and ask him, Master, we have been always asking things from you. What do you want from us? He'll say one word, appreciation of what you have got. Just your love is enough gift for me. Your love and devotion is the best gift I can get. You can't give anything better than that. So this is a different relationship than we are used to in our physical life here. So the karmic patterns in which we are living here, they are so designed that within karma, we can work out our way back. When the karma is great, that's what they say, that when the karma is great, then we meet a perfect living master. It itself is the greatest karma to be able to see a perfect living master. And it's the greatest of all karma to be initiated by a perfect living master. So that's how they explain it. Very happy now to take up some of the questions that you wrote and placed in a box. I don't know if many of you know that George Bernard Shaw was a very witty English writer. And Churchill was a very strong prime minister at that time. They both were living together. Their wit was something like this. George Bernard Shaw wrote to Churchill, "Dear friend, I am having my performance of my play today, and you are invited to come, and you can bring a friend if you have any." Churchill replied, "I'm sorry I can't attend your play today, but I'll certainly attend tomorrow if there is any."
Dear Ishwa, what to do about physical ailments or bodily pain that result distracting during meditation? Thank you.
We get our physical ailments, illnesses, bodily pains and aches, all from our own karma. And they come at all times, including when we meditate. If we are sick, it's difficult to meditate. If you're healthy, it is easier to meditate. So it's good to maintain your health as best as you can in order to be better meditators also. And what to do with that? Take something like aspirin. Some other good painkiller. I mean, we are not going to be living in a hermitage that we don't have access to these modern medicines, or we have alternative remedies. So whatever is available to us to treat our bodies, take it and keep in as good a health as you can. Modern medical services have improved a lot, and we should take advantage of them. And that will keep good health, pain-free, and then you don't need to say you can't meditate because you have bad health, because you're taking the medicines required. Of course, there are some aches and pains that come in the body just because of meditation. Now, those are different, because if you are chatting with somebody, having a gossip, those aches and pains don't come. But when you meditate, then you suddenly feel my legs are paining. That's because the mind is trying to avoid meditation. And we have to overcome it by saying, no, I have to meditate, and draw your attention as quickly as you can to the third eye center. Pain will not be felt.
This question contains 3 parts, and we translated it together because it is from
Swedish?
Switzerland. From Switzerland.
Okay.
Does a perfect living master exist on earth, and where is he? How can I really directly, without deviations, return to God? I had some masters in my life, and I nearly didn't proceed. Is a spiritual teacher or master really needed to proceed?
The first part of the question is, do perfect living masters exist on this earth? Yes. Not one, there could be more than one, but one always. Has always there been one on this earth. But there are sometimes more, but not too many. The maximum that ever have been 7, 8, not more than that, at one time on this planet. Because they come when you have exhausted the journey up to certain points with other masters, and they come for the final lap when you want to go to your true home. and they are always there. And they come in your life when you are ready to proceed to that level. A perfect living master is needed in order to go beyond the mind. Otherwise, all our efforts to go within, to be on a spiritual path, are with our mind. And the mind does not go beyond the mental regions. And therefore, you can sometimes go with partial help, with your own strong willpower to some levels. But nobody has ever crossed the mental levels without a perfect living master, a master who is operating from beyond the mind. And therefore, if you want to go to your true home, a perfect living master is a must.
Dear Ishwar, how can one disidentify with or become free from emotions? Thank you.
Emotions arise from the lower centers of energy. Emotions arise from, most of them, from the heart center, and the heart center participates in most of the emotions. When you pull your attention above the eyes or behind the eyes, emotions do not affect you. You get a feeling of calmness and coolness in all circumstances, and that's how you control your emotions.
You said there are only a few ways to Sachkhand. What about Advaita Vedanta with the question, who or what am I? How far can you go with it?
Advaita Vedanta means non-duality. A Vedanta, a truth, a searching of truth without duality, is actually searching for the truth of our own self beyond the mind, because everything within the mind is in duality. So we can find our true self with the help of one who has already gone there. And when you ask this question, who am I? That's the basic question to ask. And in trying to find out who am I, we find the answer. But when you try to say, who am I? Automatically your question goes into, am I my body? Am I my sense perception through which I see? Am I my mind that is thinking? Or am I more than that? So this question leads you to prepare yourself. If somebody is constantly asking this question to himself or herself, a perfect living master will appear in that person's life and take you back. So this question is very fundamental. And you can go as far as you like if you pursue your seeking with that question. There was a man, he came to a saint's house and began to knock outside. The master said, who are you? No answer. He knocked again. He said, tell me, who are you? Knocking at my door. No answer. He knocked again. He said, why don't you tell me who you are? He said, if I knew that, I wouldn't knock at your door.
Please explain the 12, I think it's 12, interior chakras above the third eye, and how we can access them and to what aspects of being do each refer. Is there a text about these chakras? Thank you, and there is another language I cannot pronounce.
The other language is, I love you very much. That's sort of a universal language. The 6 chakras of Pinda, of the physical system of maintenance, lie below the eyes. They end up with the external eyes. The next 6 chakras of Anda go behind and end up in the true 1,000-petal lotus, which lies in the center, not on the top. People think that the attention has to shoot out from the head to see that. It only shoots out when you are confined to the 6 chakras. The 6 chakras of Anda, or the astral stage, begin backwards. There's a 4-petal lotus. They consider them petals of lotus because of the shape and the function of that particular center. So those centers keep on going to the center. Then the remaining 6 chakras of Brahmanda and Sachkhanda, because Sachkhanda does not have any physical chakras, but it can be accessed from the chakras within the head. These are merely notional points in the human body. By putting attention there, we get these experiences. It does not mean that they are really points as real chakra sitting there. They are just associated with these different points in the body. The 12 chakras that are behind us, of the Anda and of Brahmanda and then of Sachkhanda, are actually inside and above. And you progress on that. When you take your attention in, it will move from one point to another and give you those experiences. I love you too.
How many perfect living masters are there on earth at the same time? Are they aware of each other? Do they have the same mantras for initiating?
As I said earlier, there's at least one, always, and there can be as many. In this age, there are more. As the Iron Age comes, the more masters come, because the distractions for seekers are more. There are more problems for seekers, and therefore the negativity is pulling the seekers more here, so more masters appear to help those seekers. So there can be as many as 7 or 8, as I mentioned. And in this age, there are several. And the perfect living masters know each other because they are coming from the same source. And their real form is the same. Only their bodily form is different. And they can use any mantra. They don't have to use the same mantra. There are those who are in a different language and they use mantra of that language. So different mantras are being used and all are equally effective if empowered by a perfect living master. It's not the words that matter. It's the empowerment those words are given at initiation by a master that makes them effective.
Meeting a perfect living master face to face has an impact on you. How is that possible?
When you meet a master face to face, you get 2 benefits. First, you have the darshan. Looking at the face of a master means darshan. And if the master is looking at you face to face, you are getting drishti. And the value of these is very high. Darshan guarantees that you are a seeker and you'll go back home at some point in time. Drishti means you'll get initiated within the next 4 lifetimes. And then from then, it'll be another 4 lifetimes maximum. You go back home. So there's great benefit. In fact, when my father got initiated from great master, and he found out the value of just looking at a master, he said, the only service I want to do to my friends is to bring them in front of the master. Now you can go home. I have done my duty. Because you have seen the master and now I think you got what you wanted to get. So that's the value of darshan. Of course, there's an old story about darshan, and that is about a muni, a Narad Muni. Munis are yogis of a certain height, and they are called munis. Rishis, munis, yogis. So rishis and munis are categories slightly higher than ordinary yogis. So there was a very famous muni in India called Narad Muni. He used to go from house to house, telling stories to people, begging for alms, and he was well known as a great muni, and people respected him. One day, the muni was walking in a village, and he saw a master has come, and all the people are running to have his darshan. He said, "What are you running for?" "Oh, master has come, we are going to have his darshan." He said, "What is the value of darshan?" Now, he was a muni. He was able to manifest Brahma, the Lord of creation, in his meditation. He was his Isht, he was his idol in worship. So he went into meditation and asked his God, Brahmaji, why are these people running around to just have a look at a man and they call it darshan? What is the significance of it? And Brahma told him in his meditation, "Oh, that's a good question, Narad Muni. You go to the nearby village, there is a pond there, water pond, and in that there's a snake with his head up like this. Go and ask that question from the snake and he'll give you an answer." So Narad Muni went to that pond and he saw there was a pond and there was a snake. So he said, Mr. Snake, can you tell me what is the benefit of having darshan, just looking at a man? And the snake looked at him, dropped his head and died. He was very sorry for the snake, never got the answer. So he went back to Brahma in his meditation. He said, Brahmaji, what happened? I went according to your instructions, asked the question from the snake died. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Brahmaji said. Now you go to a village about far away. Just walk there and you will find there is a man with a parrot, a pet parrot in his cage. Go and ask that parrot, he'll give you the answer. So Narad Muni traveled all those days to go to the house of a man. He said, is there a man with a parrot here? Yes, there is a retail store manager. He has a parrot in his cage. He said, can I have darshan of that parrot? He said, Narad Muni, the parrot must be very lucky to have your darshan. So he says, I want to talk to the parrot a little privately. So he goes and says, Mr. Parrot, what is the advantage of having darshan of a perfect living master? People run and go for darshan. The parrot looked at him, dropped his head and died. He said, this is a terrible, tragic situation. I ask a question and they die. Bewildered by this, he went back to Brahmaji. He said, Brahmaji, what is going on? You sent me to the snake died. You sent me to the parrot died. Now, what is the answer to my question? What is the advantage of darshan? He said, oh, did that happen to the parrot too? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But now you go to another kingdom and you have to travel a lot of time, but go there and you will find that the king there in that kingdom, his wife, the queen, has just given birth to a baby boy. Go and ask this question from the baby boy. Now he was trembling inside. Such a thing is happening to this snake and parrot. What will happen to the baby boy? But Brahmaji's instructions he had to carry out. So he traveled all the way to that kingdom and he met the king, and the king was very pleased. Narad Muniji, you come to my kingdom, I am very happy. He says, has the queen given birth to a baby boy? Yes, master, yes, Narad Muni. He just gave birth to a baby boy. He says, can I have a look at the baby boy? Oh yes, that's a great blessing for a baby boy to see Narad Muni, to have your darshan. So he said, but I want to see the baby boy in little privacy, you see, so that nobody is around to see what happens. He was so afraid. He went in and the baby infant was there. And he said, Mr. Baby Boy, what is the value of looking at the darshan and looking at the face of a person they call masters? And the baby boy spoke. He said, Narad Muni, I am the same parrot that you saw in the cage. And I am the same snake that you saw in the pond. You are not a perfect living master. You're not even a second-grade master, just a Muni. But your darshan, looking at you, made me change my life from a snake to a parrot. Second time I saw you, I turned into a human being. This is the advantage of looking at you. The advantage of looking at a perfect living master is 1,000 times more. That's how Narad Muni got his answer about darshan. So the advantage of darshan is exactly that it takes care of, it wipes out so much of the pattern of our karma that we get marked, as it were, we get marked to go back home. So this is a big advantage. And drishti is even more powerful than that.
Do you think there are holy places on earth? Can a place become holy?
All the places where perfect living masters have stepped and walked and sat are holy places, because we associate with them. We associate those places with them and we think of them, therefore they are holy. But the holiest of holy place is right behind our eyes inside. Nothing to match that as the holiest place.
I can meditate with special help from music. What do you think of that?
Yes, of course, music is a help. Music can help in two ways. You can play meditational music. They have generated a large number of CDs that I have heard myself about meditational music where they've taken the sea breeze, they have taken the rustling of the leaves, they have taken from nature, put those sounds together, and it's very calming music. Very, very good for going to sleep also. I have heard that music, it does give some peace of mind. It does, but the music that we really want to hear is inside. And sometimes we hear the outside music and we stop it and then listen inside. The resonance of that can connect us with the music inside. To that extent, it is useful. And I've heard that kind of music also. So music is really derived from an experience of inner sounds. Even outside music that we make, the basis for the music is inside, always. That is why you would find that on spiritual searches, music has played a very important role. Chanting, playing music, singing, this has all been part of the spiritual traditions because of the role music plays in our life. And therefore, but outside music, just listening to outside music cannot just take us anywhere except give some calmness to us. But if that music leads to our seeking to find similar melodious music inside, I can tell you the melody of the music inside cannot be matched by any music that I have ever heard outside. It's melodious. It's a symphony. It's something that you cannot match outside because there is so softness and so much smoothness in the music inside. And what we make outside is actually trying to make a reflection of that music. A lot of great music has come from the inspiration from the astral plane. And that is why music can be used, but use it only if it draws your attention inside, then it helps.
My dear Holy Family, it's time for the inner music. It's time to live the life of soul and come up here at the Third Eye Center, where the inner music is resounding. Say a few nice gratitude words for our Holy Father, Ishwar Puri Ji. Hold his hand, repeat the mantra of the holy name slowly at intervals with the tongue of thought, or listen to the holy music. And I wish you a holy party inside, and I hope to see you tomorrow for another holy day in Holy Father God. I'll keep Zoom on 20 minutes so we can meditate together. Enjoy.